Karen Lumley is MP for Redditch and sits on the Transport Select Committee. Karen, thanks for coming on this morning. Was it around a dozen deaths in recent years on the UK's level crossings, obviously including that of Jane Harding at Moreton-on-Lug? How has Network Rail behaved towards these bereaved families? Tell us what your report and your committee has said.
Well, not very well, obviously, and it was one of the most fairly distressing inquiries I've probably sat on. I think, it's tragic that these things happen, and, mistakes are made, but when mistakes are made, then apologies need to be made, and not just that, we need to make sure that full apologies are made, and that we need to put things in place that make sure this doesn't happen again. And I think that's one of the things that we were very concerned about, that only last year, Howard, 9 people died. So we need to make sure that we're learning the lessons. And we believe that Network Rail should have made to everybody, obviously it's a very tragic incident in our own region, but a full apology to every family. And I hope that by now that's one of the recommendations that we did make in our report, which was released this morning. And I hope to see that happening today.
Well, they have made a full apology in a statement. Their Chief Executive, Mark Khan, has apologised fully because of the past failings in managing public safety at level crossings and for its past behaviour towards bereaved families. Why does it continue, though? I mean, we keep hearing this phrase trotted out every time there's a tragedy, lessons will be learned, but they're not, are they?
Well, but hopefully they will be. We've got to move on, we've got to move
Hopefully
forward.
It's not good enough, though, Karen, is it really?
Well, hopefully it isn't good enough to me, no. But they have got to be held accountable. And one of the things that our committee has suggested is that this year, Network Rail should as making full apologies this morning. I think that's a step forward. But they have to pay themselves. And one of the things the committee suggested is Network Rail this year, the directors of Network Rail, the people in charge, should not receive any of their bonuses. And I hope that later on today we will see that come through too.
Well, we'll wait to hear whether that becomes a reality. Part of the Transport Select Committee's report is saying that they want to cut fatalities to zero on our level crossings. Now, as much as that would be a great aim, that is not realistic, is it?
Well, it's something that it's ambitious, but you've got to start somewhere here. We've got to be able to say to these people, this isn't acceptable, and we are going to hold you to account. So we've set that target, not for tomorrow, but for 2020, and I think that gives Network Rail a target to work for, and I hope the government then will back up the Transport Select Committee on that target and work with Network Rail to make sure that doesn't happen.
You say it's ambitious, but whether it's realistic or not, you've got heavy, great big trains going very quickly across a road where people drive very quickly. The two will come together. It's inevitable.
Well, so, we've seen a reduction in accidents happened already. We've seen, since 2008, we've seen a 25% reduction. So look at 2020 to see another 75%. So it's ambitious, but you've got to go somewhere, and you've got to start somewhere, and we've got to set targets for Network Rail to make sure that we don't ever hear those horrible stories that we've just heard.
Karen, thank you. I must just ask you briefly before we let you go, because we're going to be talking on a completely different subject to Neil Stotes from the Save the Alex campaign before we get to 8 o'clock on this delivery of 35,000 leaflets in and around Redditch, obviously your constituency, urging you not to vote for an amendment in this bill, which is called Clause 119. Basically, it's called the Hospital Closure Clause. Are you going to vote with the constituents, the Save the Alex campaign, or are you going to vote with the government?
Well, the Clause 119 campaign there's 2 issues here, Howard, and I'm quite to discuss both with you, obviously. One is that Clause 119 is causing concerns for the Save the Alex campaign. I understand that, and I met with them yesterday. And I will be heading back to London first thing Monday morning, and I've got a meeting with the Minister on Monday lunchtime to ask several questions that the Save the Alex campaign have put to me, and I will ask him for answers to that before I make my mind up how I will vote on Monday evening. My main concern is obviously to make sure that the Alexandra Hospital is vibrant and sustainable, and I will be doing that on Monday. The second issue is 38 Degrees, and it's not just 38 Degrees, it's Unite Union that are running this campaign. I am not prepared to be bullied by a union and a campaign lobby group. I'm here to represent the people of Redditch, and I will make my own judgment, as I have on many other issues where I have voted against the government, because that's in the best interest people of Redditch. I'm not convinced this is in the best interest of Redditch, clause 119, but I also see that it could be. And, you know, do we want a mid-Staffordshire hospital incident happening in our own region? No, we don't.
OK, Karen, we'll leave it there. Thank you. It's Karen Lumley, the MP for Redditch. We'll